paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy weird sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
Horrors in this house. There's some horrors in this house. There's some horrors in this house. There's some horrors in this house.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you've got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up N word, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P word is wet, come take a dive. It continues along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, a lot more vulgar.
leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass flat. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, well, I killed a cow out back, baby. You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to get my hands around your throat.
What rolls downstairs, a loner in pairs, rolls over your neighbor's dog? What's great for a snack and fits on your back? It's long, long, long. It's long, long. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's long, long. It's better than bad, it's good. Everyone wants a long. You're gonna love it long. Come on and get your long. Everyone needs a long.
Log from Blammo.
It's another B-Word broadcast. Let's go! How's it going, everybody? Oh my god. It's been so long. It's been so long. Ah. All right, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Wow, it's been months, but I'm back in the saddle. We're gonna have a good stream, and holy hell, did I pick a good day to come back? Because Trump's indicted. Let's go. We're gonna be drinking MAGA tears all day. I got my patented "fuck 'em all" t-shirt. It's gonna be good. Yeah, how's it going, Punch Drunk? How you been? I'm excited. It's gonna be a good day. Got a bunch of content, bunch of copium, bunch of news. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I've been busy, been doing cool shit. And over the next month, we'll check out all the cool shit I've been doing. Was out in Vancouver at a poetry festival. Man, designing this like math course, which is crazy and warping my brain. And yeah, so much this. Thank you so much, Love Tired Youth, our first follower. Bezos Bucks, let's go. Do you see that? It was 12 months. That's a whole year. That's right. Shit. How you been? How you been? Oh man, I'm glad I fixed that. And I think also someone subbed to me last night. I just woke up to it. And a follow from Gremlo, from Vesper. Oh, I know. I'm so sorry, Loud Tyrant Youth. It's people like you that made me feel bad for not streaming. I'm like, oh my god, I have 3 subscribers. How is this possible? So thank you so much for the sub. I'm gonna try to be back in the saddle. Got lots going on, but mostly through the clearing. Ran the 3rd annual Quebec Youth Slam. Was live streaming the Versus Festival in Vancouver. Huge amount of poetry. Met a bunch of wonderful, beautiful poets. Got new material, new poetry, new music. So I know I've been gone, but I was. Oh, you weren't around for a while. I like stopped watching Twitch. I stopped like subbing to Twitch. It was crazy. Like I just kind of had to, focus. I haven't been sleeping at night either, so let's go, morning crew, yeah, coffee. Yeah, so we're watching, we're gonna be watching Talking Heads. We're gonna be checking out the Truth Social posts. You can see if Trump's been melting down. It's gonna be a good stream. I'm excited. Back to basics. Let's go. MAGA tears. Yeah, I stole the idea from Ben Shabibo. He actually likes the idea so much you can buy like a mug that's liberal tears. Like, come on, like, wow, really laughing at your own shit, like, Jesus. But yeah, how you doing? How's it going? I hope everyone's doing swell and lovely. Yeah, we're gonna check out what we got lined up for today. I'm sure all sorts of things are happening. I got a few hours before work. Work's kind of light, so I'm thinking I'll just move some hours around, have a good stream. Because it's been a minute. It has certainly been a minute, that's for sure. My buddy Dirge, his friend Fake's wife owns a mug that says liberal, like somebody owns, like actually paid real dollars for this? No, stop. It's not possible. I thought they just did it for the memes. All right. Let me get my shit together. I think one of the things I wanted to start with is since Reddit's gonna be is going the way of the dodo in the next few weeks, which is not fun. I figure we'll go down memory lane and read from one of the greatest Reddit posters, Poppin' Cream, who is a fellow Canadian, and Poppin' Cream did a really good outline of how did we get here today? What is this Trump indictment? Why does it matter? What happened before it, with all the links and stuff for us to follow down, and then we can see the Trump social post. It's gonna be good. Okay, so let me stop getting you excited and actually do the thing. She's more conservative than he is. Oh man, oh no. I got really pissed off this morning because, like, in New Brunswick, oh yeah, it was some stupid law got passed about, like, parents, like, kids can't change their gender without informing their parents. It's like, y'all know nothing about this. What are you doing? Please stop. You're gonna get people hurt. Like, please stop. So frustrated. Pretty sure your boyfriend's conservative. We're just both not complete assholes about views. That's all it takes. That's really all it takes. You know, like, it's just like, just have like an ounce of just humanity and try a little. You can have wildly, different views. It's just like, let's stop with the culture war bullshit. You know what I mean? There's real shit to figure out. Like wildfires. Am I right? Like the sky turning orange. It's freaking me the fuck out. Okay, alright, I'm gonna get to the shit. Alright. Thank you. Oh, jeez. First stream in a while. Back to basics. Everyone. But yeah, look how serious and sober he is. Like, would you want to have a pint with him? And be like, did you know that slavery is at the worst it's ever been in history? Oh, dude, you're killing my vibe right now. He's from Kosovo and used to work in The Hague. Special counsel Jack Smith's months-long investigation into Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents has entered a new chapter with the indictment of the former president on 7 charges. Yo. Did you ever buy porn magazines? Be honest now. Have you ever stolen from your friends? Maybe. Jim Trusty. Oh God, no. That's not a real name. Jim Trusty, the former president's attorney. Oh, come on. The guy who says, believe me, has an attorney called Jim Trusty. Okay. All right. Okay. We're, yeah, this is like Clown World. Jim Trusty said on CNN Thursday that Trump is facing a charge under the Espionage Act. Let's go watch that. Jim Trusty, CNN. Hell yeah, let's go. Okay, you go bye-bye. I've been seeing this news bubble up, and now it's
joining us now is one of his attorneys, Jim Trusty. This is his first interview since news of the indictment broke just a few hours ago. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Okay,
my first question.
Chat, would you trust that man? Just from the general vibe, is that a trust or a no trust?
Do you have a copy of this indictment?
No, we haven't been provided with the indictment yet. What we have right now is essentially a summons, which is a replacement for a warrant, right? Normally indictments are accompanied by a warrant where there's an arrest. Here we've received a summons from the Department of Justice asking us to be at the courthouse Tuesday at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, being Trump's attorney is like the worst whipping dog, like imaginable. You just like constantly have to suffer.
And does it say how many charges there are against your client?
Again, it doesn't perfectly mirror an indictment, but it does have some language in it that suggests what the 7 charges would be. Not 100% clear that all of those are separate charges, but they basically break out from an Espionage Act charge, which is ludicrous under the facts of this case, and I can certainly explain it, and several
Is the president a spy? Questions Americans are asking themselves now.
type charges, and then false statement charges, which are actually, again, kind of a crazy stretch just from the facts as we know it. So there's a lot to pick at eventually from the defense side, but that appears to be the charges, and it appears to be something that will get off the ground on Tuesday.
It's incredible. I love it. You love to see it, chat. You love to see the worm wriggle on the hook. Holy cow. Can you imagine being his like, how does he find them? Jim Trusty? It's not real. It can't be. It can't be. So yeah, this guy, Jack Smith, is coming from The Hague. And we're learning obstruction of justice, destruction or falsification of records, conspiracy, and false statements, as well as being a spy. It's awesome. Mr. President. I love how also there's the American tradition of always like calling people their official title, even though they've like stopped, they're like no longer in that role. So people still call, you know, George Bush, you know, Mr. President, or like former President Bush. All right. Special counsel declined to comment. And it looks like Trump was summoned to appear at the federal courthouse in Miami on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Smith, appointed by Attorney General Merrick Garland, was tasked in November to look into whether Trump or his aides committed crimes by taking classified documents to his Mar-a-Lago resort after he left the White House, and whether they obstructed the investigation. The probe had escalated in recent weeks, with several high-profile interviews and a former White House official telling prosecutors that Trump knew the proper process for declassifying documents and followed it correctly at times while in office, undercutting Trump's claims that he automatically declassified everything he took from him to Mar-a-Lago. Wow, what a sentence. Somebody needs an editor. But yeah, he's like, I'm declassified. Earlier this week, CNN reported that the Justice Department informed the former president's legal team that he is a target in the probe. Such notification is often a strong sign that an indictment would follow. Yeah, that was one sentence. There was just like, one clause? Underclad in the second clause. Oh my God, that could have been a period. This undercuts Trump's claims. Like, thank you. Trump has denied wrongdoing. Believe me. Believe me. He and his right-wing allies have slammed the probe as partisan and a weaponization of the federal government. Let's go watch. Now that Twitter is just a right-wing hate sub, we just have to bring it up to see the latest in people, you know, freaking out. It's always fun. Should also tell people I'm live. Should also tell the people I am live, that I am blessed and off. So yeah. If you're not following me on Twitter, you should, because, oh wait, should you? Oh no, where do I go after Twitter? Twitter's kind of fallen apart. Wow, that's why. Here we go. It's because it's on following, not for you. As soon as you switch it to for you, it's going to be all right wing. Yeah, Ted Cruz. Indicting Donald Trump is the culmination of what Merrick Garland has been pushing for since he became Attorney General. The weaponization of our Department of Justice against enemies of the Biden administration will do enormous damage to the rule of law and have a lasting impact. It's begun. It's happening. Uh-oh. Oh no. GG, everybody. Here's Matt Walsh. Oh, he's just saying nonsense. I want to get to... Here we go. Benny Johnson. Just a reminder that Hunter Biden has still not been indicted for the crimes he's filmed himself committing, admitted to in texts, emails, and in official legal documents. Just like, yeah, clear cut, everybody. You got him. You absolutely got him. It's incredible, like, how much of my feed is just right-wingers that I don't follow. I don't follow any of these people. Biden's corrupt DOJ is openly interfering in the 2024 presidential election to stop Trump because they know Biden can't beat him in a fair race. That's what this is really all about, and everyone knows it. So consistent. It's like they all got their talking notes. Oh, and I think we got some, where's my Truth Social bits? Man, there's so much of it. Got Trump freaking out on Truth Social. Let's see here. Ooh, yeah, there's so much. All right, let's just start here.
Just moments ago, former U.S. President Donald Trump released a statement on social media saying He's been
There it
indicted,
is.
accused of keeping classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago office after leaving the White House. All right, here's what he had to say on Truth Social, which is the social media site he chooses to use. The corrupt Biden administration has informed my attorneys that I've been indicted seemingly over the boxes hoax.
The boxes hoax. Wow. I love how indicted is capitalized. And his face is literally draped with the American flag. Holy cow. Holy jingoism, Batman.
Refers to the documents, classified documents, boxes of them that were found by the FBI at his Mar-a-Lago, Florida residence. He goes on to say that I've been summoned to appear at the federal courthouse in Miami on Tuesday.
You have pretty similar vibes to your following. You didn't realize are on the wrong side. Yeah, you can have like radically different experiences depending on what side of it. In the past like few months, almost 80% of my content went from being like funny accounts I follow, often in the trans community, usually people like Poe or Shu, and now it's like 80% just like right-wing politicians I don't follow, don't really care for, try not to engage with. Just like, I guess Twitter's boring now. It's either I get angry or I go somewhere else. Like that's kind of the vibe now.
Today at 3 p.m. I never thought it possible that such a thing could happen to a former president of the United States. Let's go to CTV's Washington Bureau Chief, Joy Malpin. She joins us now. Joy, there were rumors all day that Donald Trump had been told that he was going or he was a target of investigation. So it's not a huge surprise tonight that we get this news.
Massive surprise. Big
Not
news.
a huge surprise. His lawyers were sent a letter saying that Donald Trump was a target of a criminal investigation. And in legal speak, what that means is he could be charged any minute. But it all comes as a surprise because, of course, this has never happened before. There has never been a former president who has been charged by the federal government, by the very government that he once was president of. So it's a stunning turn of events. This all has to...
Is this America? Is this America? Do we live in a democracy? Do we live in a constitutional republic?
Do with the classified documents case that Donald Trump is under investigation for, his mishandling of documents. You may remember that last year he gave 15 boxes over to the National Archives saying, look, I didn't know I had this stuff. It's classified stuff. I didn't know I had it. And of course, we've heard him before saying he can just declassify documents just by thinking about it. But the FBI said, look, we think you've got more. They believe that Donald Trump was trying to obstruct their search, so there was a raid back in August. And of course, they found more documents that were marked top secret. On top of that, the latest information has to do with an audio recording that the federal prosecutors have of Donald Trump admitting that he does have classified information about a potential Iran attack. So all of this was evidence that was put before the grand jury.
Wait.
They voted.
Sorry, what? Is he just selling national secrets about like where soldiers are in Iran?
To indict. Now, what we know about the charges is not very much right now because we haven't seen the indictment, but it could be a total of as many as 7 charges that would include obstruction, conspiracy, and retention of keeping classified documents. And so these are very serious charges, but being Donald Trump, he's fundraising off of this. And on his Truth Social, he broke the news himself, of course. And he is, rallying his allies and his supporters behind him saying, look, this is all a political witch hunt. I told you this was going to happen. And of course, slamming the government, trying to take political advantage of this because, of course, he now faces 2 indictments, one a federal charge, which is tonight, and 2, the hush money payments in New York City.
Yeah, well, we should remind people that that was a state case, and that is why this case is very different because, as you mentioned, it is a federal case. Of course, he's running for the Republican nomination throughout all of this.
He's the front runner too. That's what's so wild about this. Like, we're just, yeah, let's go. Yeah, my boy.
Are people talking about whether or not it'll affect his ability to become the nominee?
Well, certainly in a very crowded Republican field, many of the contenders are saying this should disqualify him.
America do be like that.
But here's the rub, Morella. Under the Constitution, he could be charged. He could even be convicted of a charge of a criminal indictment and still run for president, because there is nothing in the Constitution to prevent someone from doing that.
Wow. And Donald Trump puts it out there himself tonight. He is indicted, summoned to appear in court.
Okay, we
Joy
got
Malbin with
George Conway. I'm actually struggling to find right-wingers respond, so just give me half a moment. I know they're out there. My YouTube feed is clearly all libbed up.
Did it seem quiet before the former president posted on Truth Social that he had, in fact, been told that he's been indicted here?
Yeah, Kayla, I mean, it is very quiet here. There's just only really a handful of media that were still in place when Trump made that posting. I mean, all day it was pretty quiet. We did see some of...
This is what we care about.
Conservative lawyer and Washington Post contributing columnist George Conway, who has long predicted that this moment would come to pass, but it's historic. I mean, we've never seen a former president face federal...
I found the conservatives. You just have to go where the conservatives are. And we've got Benny Johnson at the very least.
Charges before.
It's absolutely historic. I mean, this is probably the most significant politically, most historically important criminal case since the Aaron Burr case at the beginning of the 19th century when he was tried for treason. This is...
Okay, actually, this is way more entertaining. Conservatives are like, look at this thumbnail. I've been trying to focus on George Conway, who's pretending to be all serious, and I just can't stop laughing at how ridiculous this thumbnail is. It's made by a tween. Trump's got the handcuffs, and Biden's got the red. The reaction to the Pog face. Pog! Pogo! Pogo! The Biden laser eyes. Of course, gotta have the laser eyes. Is that a drone too? Let's just throw on a drone for some reason. And of course, Trump's got the cool, the meme from the the meme. That sunglasses meme is 400 years old. I'm pretty sure. They had to unearth that meme with like a shovel. Okay, let's see. Heart eyes? Nah. Biden's on his Dark Brandon arc. Okay, this should be way more entertaining. All right, we don't care about that. Content. Benny Johnson. Now, I only know who Benny Johnson is because my Twitter regularly forces his content down my feed. This guy's important. Elon Musk loves this guy.
Alert. Donald Trump says on Truth Social that he's been indicted. Quote, "The corrupt Biden administration has informed my attorneys that I have been indicted, seemingly over the boxes hoax, even though Joe Biden has 1,850 boxes at the University of Delaware, additional boxes in Chinatown, D.C., with even more boxes at the University."
Could Donald Trump be elected as a convicted felon? Are we ready for that? And
my bad.
The additional boxes in Chinatown, D.C., with even more boxes at the University of Pennsylvania, and documents strewn all over his garage floor where he parks his Corvette, and which is secured by only a garage door that is paper thin and open much of the time.
I love how everything's the worst possible version possible. Breaking! Oh, I need one of those.
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
That's all you need. You just need the transition that's the super glossy news thing. Even if it just boils down to a guy in his room on his computer, much like me. If you just have a bit of gloss on it, suddenly you look way more official. It's just a bunch of Twitter pits.
And here we are. We predicted this for quite a while, but it sure is nice to be sailing over the cliff with you all. It sure is nice to see the destruction of America from the bow of the boat, along with some of my favorite friends. The people who follow our show, The Benny Show, have been hearing for the better part of 2 weeks that the Biden Department of Justice would be destroying our nation as we know it, turning its...
I mean, that being said, everything does smell like fire all of a sudden.
into a third world banana republic by indicting their foremost political enemy. Now,
I guess the part I don't understand about outrage culture is how do you maintain the... Whew, really? That sounds terrifying. Yikes. like instinctively wrapping my blanket around me for protection. Yeah, I just don't know how they maintain it. Like, I need to go relax in a park some days and bounce on a slack line or play some music. Like, I don't know how you get angry every day. I mean, I do get it, but I don't know how you... Gosh.
The left has been having a psychosexual fever dream over indicting Donald Trump federally for a very long time.
This is
they couldn't
psychosexual.
even keep it in their pants when it came to Alvin Bragg. They just couldn't resist. Donald Trump threw a toothpick away on the wrong side of the road when he was jaywalking, and well, that means you go to jail in New York, apparently. Allegedly.
Fever dreams are legit.
But now tonight there is a new indictment because Donald Trump essentially held onto records that he is legally able to hold onto, and then
I love how he's just so confident about that and couldn't be more wrong.
told the government to F off, and now they are indicting him. Ladies and gentlemen, they've been wanting to do this for a very, very long time. Here's the news, and more importantly, Donald Trump just released a video seconds ago.
Hell
so
yeah.
we will let Donald Trump
Truck
speak
yeah. Truck
for
yeah, brother.
himself.
This is why we go to conservatives, because they know how to mainline the shit.
Speak for himself. Donald
Wow,
Trump
his own
has
words.
been indicted. Here are the charges. Donald Trump indicted. Charged in classified documents probe. Federal grand jury approves 7 counts, including obstruction, false statements, order to appear in a court in Miami on Tuesday. Trump says it's a dark day for the United States of America. Trump is now facing criminal charges in 2 cases. The other one would be the Alvin Bragg case, which is absolutely duty-bound to fall apart. That's what we're hearing. Trump claims he's an innocent man in both cases, and he's running for president in 2024.
I actually have not stopped using that. I still use it unironically. I'm serious when I say it was one of the greatest things to come out of that movement. It's an incredible statement.
First time in American history that anyone has indicted their political opponent. Our producer here, ALX, tweeting and breaking Donald Trump has been indicted.
Oh, that's who ALX is. So that's a new person I've never heard of that now I get to have my feed full of. And that explains a lot. He's the producer for The Benny Show.
To appear in court. Donald Trump truthing this. The corrupt Biden administration has informed my attorneys that I have been invited seemingly over the boxes hoax. Joe Biden kept thousands of boxes at the University of Delaware next to his Corvette on the garage floor. Paper thin.
Hockey.
Secured only by a paper thin garage door. Some of the time.
Man, I kind of miss. I'll always love watching a hockey game, but I never like think to do it. I never like follow it.
I've been summoned to appear in federal court in Miami Tuesday at 3 p.m. I never thought that it would be possible that such a thing could happen to the former president of the United States, who received far more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country and currently...
In German, when you write in German, every noun is capitalized. And that's all I can think whenever I read something from Trump. He just capitalizes things. Half French-Canadian hockey fan? Yeah, that's okay. I bet your arteries are clogged with poutine as well, which is probably a net positive. Probably good on the whole.
Leading by far candidates, both Democrat and Republican polls. I am an innocent man, Donald Trump says.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, we know for a fact that Donald Trump is an innocent man. And more importantly, we know that the Department of Justice is, of course, using 2 different methods as it pertains to the law and order in this country. So says Elon.
There is like in the background just a gun. Just a random gun. And he's got like the most boring, like patina, like white bread background I've ever seen in my life.
Musk also, Elon Musk responding to our producer ALX here, saying there does seem to be a far higher interest in pursuing Trump compared to other people in politics. Very important that the justice system rebut what appears to be different enforcement or they will lose public trust. Yes, that is effectively what everyone is saying here, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, who says Democrats must literally shake and sweat when they see amazing, packed-out Trump rallies and overwhelming winning poll numbers week after week. They must.
Yeah, what is his personality? I actually I don't really know what it is yet. I'll have to see him like interacting with someone else, like Oil and Water or something,
Night in panic at the thoughts of us winning in 2024. Marjorie Taylor Greene echoing this fantastic account and wokeness, one of my favorites. Hunter Biden, 0 indictments. The big guy, 0 indictments.
One of my favorite accounts, the ones who are against being woke. We really gotta get ourselves together. Like, it's so hard to take seriously.
The Clinton, 0 indictments. Epstein, 0 indictments. Anthony Fauci, 0 indictments. DC insider traders, 0 indictments. Iraq war criminals, 0 indictment. COVID criminals, 0 indictments.
I love how they call them criminals, and then immediately after the word criminal is 0 indictments, meaning they're not criminals. I love how, like, there's an immediate for at least 2 of them on the page right now. Whatever happened to innocent before guilt? And then you got the Elon Musk with the interesting, curious.
Elon Musk responding to this with a
oh, there it is.
Man with an eyeglass emoji. What could it be?
He does the bit.
Donald Trump is responding to this allegation in a video. He just posted it. We have it loaded up.
Let's go.
Donald Trump says as a caption to the video, "I am an innocent man." Here's what President Trump has.
This is what innocent people do. They scream in all caps.
Has to say.
Very sadly, we're a nation in decline, and yet they go after a popular president, a president that got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country.
So true, Bestie.
By far, and did much better the second time in the election than the first. And they go after him. On a boxes hoax, just like the Russia hoax.
Russia.
Others.
I can't keep my composure. I can't. Why is he talking about himself in the third person?
Going on for 7 years. They can't stop because it's election interference at the highest level. There's never been anything like what's happened.
Never.
I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person. They had the Mueller hoax, the Mueller report, and that came out.
Mueller.
No collusion after
no
2.5 years. That was set up by Hillary Clinton and Democrats. But this is what they do. This is what they do so well. If they would devote their energies to honesty and integrity, it would be a lot better for our country. They could do a lot better. They could do a lot of great things.
It's so true.
But when you look at what's happened to our country in the last 3 years, we were energy independent. We had a strong military that wasn't woke. We were doing so well. We were respected all over the world. Got the biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation cuts.
This is what conservatives really care about, the bedrock issues.
In history.
Dinner table politics.
What do? You have a president where an election was taken, got more votes than any sitting president in history by far. Never anything even close.
Millions.
And they come after me because now we're leading in the polls again by a lot against Biden and against the Republicans by a lot. But we're leading against Biden by a lot, a tremendous amount.
Yeah, we're not really losing. We're winning, everybody.
And we went up to a level that they figure the way they're going to stop us is by using what's called warfare. And that's what it is. This is warfare for the law. And we can't let it happen.
That's actually dangerous.
Our country is going to hell. And they come after Donald Trump, weaponizing the Justice Department, weaponizing the FBI. We can't let this continue to go on because it's ripping our country to shreds.
He's really coherent.
We have such big problems, and this shouldn't be one of them. It's a hoax.
Holy shit.
The whole thing is a hoax, just like Russia.
Russia
Dossier was a hoax. You saw the Durham report. You saw the Mueller report.
The Mueller report.
It was all a big hoax.
You seen the reports?
2 impeachments, and they lost, and we won.
He's lucid. He's
and we had
cogent.
Tremendous support. But that was a hoax and a scam. And now they're doing it again. It's just a continuation, 7 years, even after I'm out. But it's called election interference. They're trying to destroy a reputation so they can win an election. That's just as bad as doing any of the other things that have been done over the last number of years, and especially during the 2020 election. So I just want to tell you, I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong. And we will fight this out just like we've been fighting for 7 years. It would be wonderful if we could devote our full time to making America great again. And that's exactly what we did. But now, again, our country is in decline. We're a failing nation. And this is what they do. I'm an innocent man. We will prove that again. 7 years of proving it. And here we go again. Very unfair.
Did that rhyme?
But that's the way it is. I just want to thank everybody.
Is this a poem?
We are doing something very special for our country. We're putting America first. I always put America first. And that's why we were in a position. Unfortunately, that position is no longer valid because they've done such a poor job.
Not valid.
But we're in a position where we're going to make America great again. I'm innocent, and we will prove that very, very soundly.
What is he
hopefully
saying?
very quickly. Thank you very much.
Oh my god. It's like the most coherent he's been in months. Okay, alright. From the man himself. I got a good quote for you. It's from Sagan. Carl Sagan. One of the saddest lessons of history is this. If we've been bamboozled long enough, we tend to reject any evidence of the bamboozle. We're no longer interested in finding out the truth. The bamboozle has captured us. It's simply too painful to acknowledge even to ourselves that we've been taken. Once you give a charlatan power over you, you almost never get it back. I'm just like, it's all I can see here. I'm just like, he's going to skip so quickly over actually scrutinizing anything, any of this. Just like, rah, rah, my boy Trump. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Benny, you're muted. Oh, he makes mistakes like I do. No shot. No shot. Really? Oh, I feel so much better now. Am I mistaken? Maybe I'm the one who's wrong. Oh, this makes me feel so much better. See, everybody makes these little basic streamer mistakes. He's having a whole conversation by himself. Is he reading the chat? Oh, did he figure it out?
Sorry,
there it
guys.
is. Yes! Oh, he is a human. Oh, he makes mistakes just like me. Yay, we're not so different after all. Look at that. Yeah. Chef's kiss.
This is... Thanks. I see ya. Sorry, my poor team. Yeah.
My poor team. He has a team, though. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, you got a whole ass team?
I was muted there. My apologies. I want to make sure that we give Donald Trump the full floor and that you are able to hear the full video from Donald Trump. Everyone else will play snippets, and we wanted to play the full thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you're live and when you're just sitting in your kitchen.
The fourth wall has completely evaporated, completely deteriorated. You just gotta skip over it. Just like, it's like music, you know? You might have played a couple wrong notes, but you know, you just gotta get back in time and just play the next right notes. You just move forward. Just move forward. Don't worry about it.
I'm drinking a
it's getting awkward.
Water. I promise you that is exactly what that is. Certainly not a Bud Light, although you.
Wow, an attempt at humor.
Could assume that, given the fact that I just talked for 20 seconds with my mic off. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump's full Truth Social here saying this is election interference and a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time and make America great again. Now, some of the very interesting things that are happening right now in the world, and they are happening quickly and they are happening fast. So what do we know about what is about to happen to Donald Trump? Trump will be arrested, booked, and appeared before a judge before he goes to the courthouse on Tuesday, according to ABC News. That is Tuesday in Miami. So that's when that is going to happen. Donald Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, had this instant reaction on Fox News to this information.
President Trump's attorney, Alina Habba. So just to summarize, Fox has not confirmed the indictment. The former president has just announced this on Truth Social, that he has been informed by his attorneys that he will be indicted over what he calls the boxes hoax. Alina, what can you tell us?
It's pretty good branding. I like this one, actually. The boxes hoax. The boxes.
I can tell
Hocus pocus, it's a boxes.
you that's exactly how I would characterize this. For the president to be indicted for something that every other president, every other non-president, including vice presidents, have done shows.
No, don't show the picture of the evidence. No, don't show that. Don't show that to your viewers. That's the thing he got in trouble for.
What a sick world we are living in. I am petrified for the country at the moment, Jesse. Sad for my client, although he is resilient and strong. And it just tells me, once again, why we need him back in the White House. It is a very sad state of affairs in this country.
Have you spoken to the former president since this happened? Have you had any conversations with his legal team? What's the sense there?
We used to build things in this country.
I would never discuss any privileged conversations that I have, of course. I can tell you that obviously he put something out which says he's been indicted. It speaks for itself. I can also say that there is a two-tier system of justice that we are seeing right now. Hillary Clinton smashed a computer, got rid of emails. We had...
She smashed a computer, everybody. She took a hammer to it. She just went... herself, like Office Space.
Recordings in sock drawers. We have Biden and Obama who are hiding things. Biden still has things in Chinatown in his home.
Chinatown?
With his son who's a drug
That sounds dangerous. Why are we talking about China?
addict, and nothing happens to these people. So when your name is Donald Trump, when you're leading in the polls, you are going to get hit hard. You are going to get indicted until you can't take it anymore. But they picked the wrong guy, Jesse. They picked the wrong guy.
He's
and
a
I
fighter.
think that's why
He's a
he's
warrior.
so ahead in the polls, and that's why he'll probably win.
Why are you showing your own goofy thumbnail? The worst crime, being a drug addict's parent. Oh yeah. I love how like conservatives got really obsessed with Hunter Biden's, ding dong. And it was just like this arc where they're all just kind of leaning into it a bit too much, and kind of obsessing about it and like sharing memes. Or just like, you're like, guys, like, it's cool, right? Like you can just come out if that's how you go, like. You don't have to pretend it's a culture war.
So this is obviously going to be, and we want to thank everyone watching on Rumble. We really appreciate you and really appreciate that community.
Something we should watch is that movie they made about Hunter Biden that made him out to be like way cooler than he really was, like some spy, superhuman, backroom dealer. It just sounds like hilarious content.
This is obviously going to be something that is going to galvanize the Republican base, and you're already seeing it here. Some of the responses, Clay Travis, one of my favorites, saying Joe Biden entered office claiming that he wanted to restore normalcy to the country and defend democracy. His Department of Justice has now indicted their chief political rival for the White House, something that has never happened in 240 years. The United States is officially a banana republic in Biden's America.
Damn, it really do be like that. Let's just ignore the whole, coup d'etat that failed a year or two ago.
Matt Gaetz is saying, imagine being naive enough to believe that Biden bribe evidence and Trump indictment happening on the same day was a coincidence, Matt.
Are they gonna, what's with all the weird capitalizations? I think it's just because, it makes it feel more like if you put title case on things, it communicates this is a proper noun. This is a special thing that happened. You should find out about it. Do you not know about the Biden bribe evidence? Oh, geez, let me search this up. And then, I just think maybe they're better at SEO. Maybe conservatives are just really good at the internet and SEO. We've just been lying to ourselves this entire time.
Gaetz saying, yeah, this is all planned. Mike Davis saying effectively that this is election interference moments ago on Fox.
So if it goes to D.C., right now we're in June 2023. You got a Republican primary just starting to heat up.
Jim Trusty?
What is the timetable for a trial in the middle of a Republican primary? Possibly a general election.
Well, that's the issue. This is clearly election interference by Joe Biden. This is clearly election interference. Isn't it funny that the day that Joe Biden gets caught taking $10 million from Burisma, Biden's Attorney General Merrick Garland greenlights this indictment of his leading presidential rival. I mean,
whoa, we're through the looking glass, everybody. Oh my God, they cracked the case on Burisma, on Hunter Biden today, and that's when Trump gets indicted. Oh, geez, it really does go right to the top.
The timing is just It's just, it's just coincidental, right? Well,
Yeah.
so here's what happens. Trump could try to move to dismiss the indictment, the sufficiency of the indictment early on, because there's not a legal basis for the indictment. The Presidential Records Act, not the Espionage Act, applies. I doubt a uniparty judge is going to go along with that. And so this.
Because last I checked, I thought it was NARA, like the National Archives and Records Administration or something like that, that was behind the complaint that started all this nonsense. They're like, hey, Mr. President, man, could we get those top secret documents back real quick? You're no longer president. You can't keep those. And it got so bad they had to raid his home, and they still haven't found some of the documents, last I checked.
This will probably have to get resolved by the Supreme Court. It should be 9-0 by the Supreme Court if they actually follow the law. But at the
Good thing we got Clarence Thomas in our camp,
end of the day, Trump may get elected in 2024 as a convicted felon who the Supreme Court has to reverse his conviction because...
Holy shit. Oh my God. It's totally possible. It is 100% possible that Trump wins the election. Even after being a federal, I 100% believe America will go down that road.
It's a bogus.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That will be something. Mike
They're
Davis, thank you so much.
drooling at the thought.
Thank you.
And again, Fox News has confirmed former President Donald Trump has been indicted and has been ordered to appear in federal court in Miami on Tuesday.
Law and order.
So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be the rumble in the jungle. Charlie Kirk saying about Miami, every Republican running for president should suspend their campaign, go to Miami and show support. If you do not, you are part of the problem. Either we have an opposition party or we don't. Go to Miami on Tuesday and show solidarity, or we will mark you as part of the opposition.
Holy hell, that is incredible. It's like straight for the jugular. You're either with us or you with the liberal demon rats. Like, Jesus.
And Charlie Kirk coming in very, very strong. I've heard Donald Trump call Charlie Kirk his fourth son. Speaking of one of Donald Trump's sons, Donald Trump Jr. saying this: Biden's corrupt DOJ is openly interfering in the 2024 presidential election to stop Trump because they know that Biden cannot beat him in a fair race. That is what this is really about, and everyone knows it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Davis, our in-house attorney on my show, has this to say as it pertains to his snap reaction to this.
The judge is going to go along with that. And
these cuts are really harsh.
So this will probably have to get resolved by the Supreme Court. It should be 9-0 by the Supreme Court if they actually follow the law. But at the end of the day, Trump may get elected in 2024 as a convicted felon.
That's awesome.
Oh, correction, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. We're going to Matt Gaetz responding here live on Newsmax. That was Mike Davis. That was a mistake on our end, having the same clip in twice. Although,
oh man, oh geez. I guess this is the problem with when like people are actually watching. You feel like it's a production, and every mistake you're like you have to apologize over. Is anything real anymore? Because like I've been going down this rabbit hole about how we can't actually see reality, this idea called radical constructivism, that we can't actually like touch or interact with reality itself. All we can really do is create like these mental models that work or they don't, and we hang on to those mental models based on how well they work. And so you could totally grow up, let's say, in a cult, and as long as your mental model helps you navigate that world that you live in, then you are interacting with reality as far as your brain is concerned. And this goes really deep, including like all of our scientific findings. It's just humans agreeing on a mental model that works for their interpretation of reality. So no, nothing's real.
I do think worth noting a very interesting point. Could Donald Trump be elected as a convicted felon? Are we ready for that? And also potentially pardoning himself, running on.
No, it's fine. It's like how you learn how to do a handshake, right? Like handshakes are a way for you to interact with other humans so that you can like be chill with them and greet and do social stuff. And it's totally cool and it totally works. It's just an evolutionary adaptation. Some creatures have this, some others don't. If you don't have a brain or a vertebrae, you might not have this type of consciousness. But that's cool. You know, like, whatever. Who cares if we can't touch objective reality? We have each other.
A platform of pardoning himself, maybe along with all the January 6ers? Is that a platform that we're ready for, America? Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Gaetz, take it away.
Have much luck with this,
Matt Gaetz,
as it moves forward. And what about all the allegations of prosecutorial misconduct that we've seen just in this case alone?
Yeah.
Yeah, the prosecutor seems to be someone with an axe to grind. It seems to be why that prosecutor was selected for this purpose. If you look at some of the prior political activity and connection to left-leaning political figures and groups, this was.
Is it pause on my end or his end? The fuck? I'm gonna guess it's my end.
It's a hit job, and it is stunning to think about that courthouse in Miami bearing out the scene on Tuesday where Donald Trump will present himself. I believe that's the same federal courthouse where they held Manuel Noriega, the former dictator of Panama. And then to think we would visit this harm in my state, on our country. It is such an abuse of federal power. We should immediately be holding congressional hearings on this to ascertain by what authority was this Jack Smith individual kind of screened and reviewed for bias, and to what extent were civil liberties potentially violated. We know
civil liberties.
New York Alvin Bragg case that Mark Pomerantz pled the fifth when asked whether or not he broke any laws when trying to get Trump.
We've got some more details here, Congressman.
Okay. Isn't that an amendment?
He's been indicted on at least 7 federal charges, including illegal retention of classified documents, obstruction, and on conspiracy. So the first one, illegal retention of classified documents. Okay, fine. So let's charge President Biden with the same thing. Let's charge Mike Pence with the same thing. In fact, it's even worse because neither of them could declassify the documents that they've taken. But we also have obstruction and we have conspiracy. Do you
like in there?
Have any clarity on what they're going to try and do with conspiracy here? I mean, the obstruction is obvious. They think that's because he slow walked the return of them. He wasn't giving them back as fast as they wanted. What do you think conspiracy means in this thing?
Well, as to the obstruction, it's a common theme from the Department of Justice when they've got a weak underlying matter to kind of layer in obstruction to try to bring this air of criminality over what would otherwise be a non-criminal negotiation or interaction with the compliance with the Federal Presidential Records Act. And keep in mind, there's no Vice Presidential Records Act. President Trump had more authority to have these records, certainly, than Joe Biden did as the former vice president. And so if there's legal ground to stand on.
I think the difference is that Biden and, what's his name, Pence, they invited the FBI into their residence, and the FBI found all the things. So that's kind of where it ended. Trump has been kind of like playing keep away with national secrets.
These are not equivalencies. President Trump on far better legal ground. I think he'll probably find a pretty favorable jury in Miami-Dade County. President Trump's got a lot of fans down there, and so I think that's a
very interesting point there by Matt Gaetz. You could probably find a very, very positive jury for Donald Trump in Miami. That's actually not a bad point because he is going to be tried in Miami. It's going to be a very, very different ballpark. And by the way, a lot of based Cubans in Miami that don't like communism and don't like communist tactics. Much like Josh Hawley, who is tweeting, if people in power can jail their political opponents, we do not have a republic. Josh Hawley warning
is this a constitutional republic?
House Judiciary Committee saying witch hunt. A man who serves on the House Judiciary Committee, Matt Gaetz, you just heard there. And we have our first presidential candidate in the field, the Republican field for the Republican presidential race. Vivek Ramaswamy is the first Republican presidential candidate to come out with a statement on this. Let me read you in part of the statement. We cannot have two tiers of justice, one for Trump and one for Biden, one for Assange, one for Manning, one for BLM and Antifa, and one for peaceful protesters.
One for peaceful protesters on January 6th. Didn't one of them catch like 6 years? Like for domestic terrorism charges, the head of the Proud Boys? Like, come the fuck on. Like, what are you talking about?
On January 6th. Strong. I never thought that we'd see the day where the U.S. president deputizes the DOJ to arrest his rival in the middle of an election. Obama shamefully tried to deputize the FBI to infiltrate Trump's 2016 campaign, but they're leaving nothing to chance this time around. The federal police state.
What do you mean acting different than others? How they don't see how Trump is? Oh, like how come they can't tell like how he's just like criming all the time? It's because he's a useful wedge, right? Like it gives them more political power to let him be the point of the spear, since he's going to do it anyways. He's going to run rough and tumble over the judicial system, and that's exactly the system they want to corrupt. Hence Clarence Thomas being paid by a right-wing billionaire for decades without anyone knowing about it. Crow was, yeah, exactly. You get it, right? He's the tip of the spear.
Is outright arresting Trump. This is an affront to every citizen. We cannot devolve into a banana republic where the party in power uses police force to arrest political opponents. It's hypocritical for the DOJ to selectively prosecute and persecute Donald Trump, but not Biden.
What was the What was the motto that Trump ran on in 2016 again? What was it? It was lock her up. Yeah, wasn't it lock her up? He ran on jailing his political opponent, Clinton. Yeah, it's not a good sign, Loud Tyrant Youth. The absolute, I don't know how you say, the complete loss of confidence in the Supreme Court is gonna have, it's bad. It's bad. That's when you're like, uh-oh.
That's exactly and 100% totally and completely correct. Joe Biden, by the way, had absolutely no plenary power to classify or declassify records. That power is vested completely inside the executive, which is an article of the Constitution, which is, of course, given to one man. Joe Biden illegally had classified documents. Joe Biden had no right to them. Barack Obama could save Joe Biden with a word, but he won't, because I think they're planning on taking down Joe Biden as well. That's my own contention. But they're going to get Trump first. There are also serious.
It's the deep state, everybody.
Serious legal questions about President Trump's power to declassify documents and the potential legality over the classification of federal documents in the first place. That's for the courts to decide. But we, the people, decide who governs this nation. This is a strong statement.
So
a strong statement by, again, Vivek.
Yeah, the part I usually try to get across is that we have our brains aren't good with time scales, and Rome took forever to fall apart. Took a long fucking time, generations. So I think of you're driving a car and you can hear the engine grinding against itself. You can feel it falling apart. The car still goes, still gets you from town to town to town to town. And yeah, they're not taking it into a shop. None of the problems are getting fixed. So the car's just gonna fall apart at some point. And we're already starting to see it. That's why there's increasingly Republicans are labeling themselves as domestic terrorists, because they're just they know where this is going. They've already figured it out, and it's whether the rest of America is ready for it, ready to actually address the deep rot in the politics.
Ron Swamy. It would be much easier for me to win this election if Trump weren't in the race, but I stand for principles over politics. I commit to pardon Trump promptly on January 20, 2025 to restore rule of law. And
that's kind of why you're seeing just such strong rhetoric. We need our strong men. It could not be simpler than that. They really just need their daddy to make them, kiss them goodnight and say, oh, the bad men, they're going away. We're going to fix it. Okay. Daddy's big and strong, and he can take care of anything. That's all they need. Just need a little bedtime story, a bit of honey, maybe a jam sandwich.
This country. Hot damn, man. Way to go, Vivek. And here he is.
Yeah, that's it. Coming out to play.
Presumably following up with the statement. Man.
While driving.
Son of a bitch.
While driving.
Dude went hard in the paint.
He was so so horny for his clout that he wrote this entire thing and then posted a video while driving. Did he write it while driving? Did he, like, what the fuck?
The great statement. I wouldn't change anything about this statement. Way to go.
This guy's, like, slobbering all over him.
Our favorite legal scholar was on Fox just moments ago. His name is Jonathan Turley. He is the person that was trusted by Tucker Carlson. He's the person who's trusted by us. He's not. He's a constitutionalist. I don't think he's a red hat MAGA supporter. I think he's a constitutionalist. He's very clear-eyed on these subjects.
I love how they have to, like, even they themselves have to distinguish between lawyers that are MAGA, which means they're incoherent and ridiculous, and, like, the clear-eyed not a conservative, the constitutionalists. I hear the word constitution, I know the Constitution's good, so this lawyer must be good too. Like,
and he was saying that Donald Trump should now run on pardoning himself. Have a listen.
But as with many of these cases, Jesse, it comes down to timing. There's not a lot of runway before the presidential election. And the court's going to be in a tough position how to deal with this criminal case when you have the leading candidate for president who wants to be campaigning. Then there's the final issue here, which is going to get really wicked. And that is, Trump could run on pardoning himself. You know, for people that feel that this is bias, that this is part of a pattern, he could turn this on his opponents and actually run on his right to pardon himself. So if he's elected, even if he's convicted, he could pardon himself, or he can do so before a trial occurs.
Yeah, the good old pocket pardon. So Fox is hearing that it involves obstruction and handling of documents or mishandling of documents.
Jonathan Turley continues on there in his argument in favor of Donald Trump and his argument against the security state doing this to him. Let's have a listen. Jonathan Turley, again, one of our favorite legal scholars.
There's a big debate as to whether you should or be able to impeach someone for conduct before they became president. One of the interesting things here is that Joe Biden, as president, has been denying these allegations. So there may be a bootstrapping that can occur. But the Democrats just created a precedent that you can impeach a former president, because President Trump had left office by the time of his Senate trial. And so they may have created precedent that would allow you to impeach Vice President Biden, to go back retroactively to impeach. So this is just going to get very, very weird.
I love how this great constitutional lawyer has forgotten that a pardon requires that you admit guilt in the case. Like, you have to admit that you did the thing in order for you to be pardoned for it, in order for the president to give you clemency. And that's why a self-pardon doesn't really make sense. And it also kind of like reveals a lot of how they think about the law. The law is quite literally sword and shield, you know, just, you know, it's a good political message. You can run on it. People are going to love you for it.
Could have a federal trial of Donald Trump and an impeachment trial of President Biden at the same time in an election year. 2024 is going to be crazy.
Is good for those of us on the legal commentary side.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Let's turn it over to...
Ladies and gentlemen, you can see here, recently published June 8th.
Wait, before we do that, because we need a little break. 24 is going to be wild. Yeah, I think that's why I want to get back in the saddle. It's going to be pretty crazy. I'll get my sheet in order. Maybe get Rich Food for Poor Folk going again. That was always a lot of fun. So just a little palate cleanser. You might have heard of the crazy... You're going back to school in the fall? Oh, good for you. What are you going to study? In Nova Scotia, right? Or are you going to move for school? These are some firefighters from Australia. Showed up. And also, this incredible scene in the airport. Firefighters from South America. so good. That's what Canada misses. Newfoundland, actually. Waterloo. Oh, okay. I just thought that was really, really, really lovely scene. That's cool. Learning is fun. There's a book I read that defined learning as change. Just like, learning is when you change in the direction you wanted to change in. It's like, yeah, that's a pretty good definition. What are the prerequisites? And also, pharmacy is a great option. You make a pretty solid money, 9-to-5 job. You just got to do a bunch of science courses, I think, at some point, which is going to suck. But you'll hack it. I believe in you. All right. We can watch a bit more of Benny Johnson. I feel like he's running out of steam. Intro sciences, calc, and English. Oh, okay. Yeah. If you've taken it already, then you need the better marks. Ooh, oh, that's frustrating. Yeah, those courses are tough. English is my jam, but sciences and calculus. I failed intro calc in university. I took like 2 calculus courses and failed them both. No, linear algebra and calc 1. I failed them both. Now I'm doing a math course. I went straight out of high school, and now I'll be 27 going back. That's a great age. You learn your whole life, and college, university is a great place to meet new people. I went back to school in my 29, and I spent 6 years trying to get my bachelor's, so, you know, I didn't get the degree I wanted, so don't worry too much about it. Just, it's usually a good way to grow yourself, you know, at least figure out what you do and don't like. But pharmacy work, yeah, it's like golden goose stuff. All right, let's see George Conway.
You know, it is stunning to see, it is breathtaking to see, but it's not surprising at all. I mean, the fact of the matter is, and Donald Trump is going to argue that he was mistreated and he is being singled out and he's being abused. But the fact of the matter is, he's gotten the benefit of the doubt. This, if you or any of us at this table had been a government official.
I mean, I'm getting a degree in education.
Trump administration, and we took this volume of documents home and we jerked around the National Archives and Records Administration for a year and a half plus, and then forced the government to get to a search warrant. It wouldn't have taken a year and a half for them to get that search warrant. They would have been knocking, the FBI would have been at our doors within months. And the fact of the matter is,
it's been like a year.
When this search warrant came out, we saw the affidavit. We saw a redacted affidavit that the FBI used to get the search warrant executed at Mar-a-Lago. And the amount of information in there was absolutely stunning at the time. I mean, it was shocking at the time that they had such a powerful case already.
So powerful.
Simply by virtue of the fact is they found the stolen property in his office and at his home.
Yeah, it's usually a bad sign. It's usually a bad sign. Do you, what made you decide to go back to school?
So, the fact of the matter is, he could have been indicted months ago. And again, if it was one of us, he would have been indicted
It's like a
months
bunch
ago.
of indictment hammers.
He has gotten special treatment in his favor, and this is not a criticism of the Justice Department. It's a statement of fact that the Justice Department has to be extra careful and extra cautious and make sure that it has all its ducks in a row before bringing a charge against the former president and presidential candidate. But these charges could have been brought long ago. And one other point on the venue, there's been these suggestions that somehow this was a sudden change in venue. The fact of the matter is, we knew back in August that there was going to be a potential venue issue, and people were discussing it. Legal nerds were discussing it, not
normal people.
Not in the cafes, not in the coffee shops
Shuts
of
over
America.
her.
But there was a legal issue because so much of the illegal conduct that was described in the FBI affidavit took place at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. And the Constitution, the Sixth Amendment, provides that a criminal defendant, here Donald Trump, the criminal defendant, is entitled to a jury in the district and the state in which he committed the crime.
You mentioned the Justice Department. We haven't heard anything from them yet, Paula. Do you expect that we will? How does the special counsel's office handle this?
Yeah, our reporting right now, Caitlin, is that we will not hear anything from special counsel Jack Smith or his office. And that is a deliberate choice. They must have known when they offered the courtesy of informing him that he had been indicted. That's standard. That's what you would do with most defendants. You knew that this was very likely to wind up on social media.
Parents want me to get a degree, don't care what I do after, but stipulate I get one. Pharmacy was my choice. Last time I really picked my own path was high school, but mom was a pharmacist. Sure, yeah, that's good enough reason. Path of least resistance isn't necessarily the wrong choice. It's often a good choice because you go with the flow, figuring out things, moving forward. Yeah, you're gonna learn a lot about science.
It's exactly what has happened, but they're not going to offer any statements, any additional details, or unseal the indictment tonight. And, again, that is their choice, but we have to look at how this worked out with past special counsels in terms of letting other people craft the narrative, not just releasing the evidence or the charges. And the Justice Department, the FBI, they have been under siege. Criticism about political bias from both sides of the aisle for the past 7 or 8 years since the investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. One of the reasons we have a special counsel is because the Attorney General is trying to protect the integrity, right? The public's view of the Justice Department. So tonight, the fact that the special counsel is not going to say anything, that we're getting most of the breaking news from the former president who has just been indicted, that is something that history will ultimately judge. It's unclear, though, if this is the correct decision.
Although I think we can probably say that regardless of whether they said
Caring
something
about
or
the
not,
integrity.
the accusations of bias would always
This is like integrity from South Park.
Be there, because this was the plan all along. Trump and his allies have been trying to sow the seeds of this doubt about whether this case was significant or not. And notably, even the people who are running against him are sort of accepting this narrative that because he is a former president and because he is running for president again, that ought to subject him to some kind of other standard. And that is, I think, what will be tested here once we actually know the details of it. The significance of the reporting that you and the rest of the team reported about that tape in which he's talking about a specific document. We don't know whether that document is involved in this. We don't know whether that was all. But even if it were that alone, I think it really opens the door to a really serious set of issues about national security, about Trump trying to utilize the documents in a way, in any kind of way, frankly, and not just to peruse them, but to use them to prove a point about General Mark Milley.
Sounds dirty.
And those are really serious issues, and ones that cannot really be spun once we know the details.
That's national defense information.
We have not heard one word publicly from the special counsel since he took this job, which, if you're talking about the gravity of the case, investigating a former president, the gravity of the issues, classified documents, potentially national security secrets, you can understand that. But if you study the lessons of the Mueller report, if you study the lessons of 2 impeachments, you also understand what Donald Trump is going to do and what he is doing. What he's been doing for weeks and weeks, even before this moment, and he's put it on steroids tonight. He is telling his people, don't listen to this man. The FBI is corrupt, the deep state is corrupt, they're after me again, trying to convince them, don't listen to him. Because Trump's smart. He's smart. He's cynical, but he's smart because when they lay it out, if you read the Mueller report, did it prove collusion? No. Did it say a lot of really bad things about Donald Trump? Yes, it did. But his people don't believe it because he poisoned the well beforehand and said, do not listen to anything these people say. So I'm not a lawyer. Jack Smith's biggest job is going to be to prove his case in court. We are in Never Never Land. We have never had a former president of the United States who's an active candidate and the faraway frontrunner in the next election indicted on federal charges that are incredibly serious. This is not shoplifting. This is not stealing a car. This is not running a bad business. This is taking the most top secret documents, when he begrudgingly left the White House.
Law and order.
That he had to leave after he tried to fight so that he wouldn't have to leave. So the biggest challenge is in court, but the first words Jack Smith and his team do say, first on paper when we see it, and then if they speak to this publicly, are going to be critical to determine whether or not Donald Trump's argument gets outside of his base. If that's the only argument Donald Trump wins with his base, he may win the Republican nomination off it, but he's a former president because the rest of America stopped listening to him.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Within an hour, he was already fundraising off of this. I want to get back to Maggie Haberman. Maggie, I understand you're learning new details about these charges. We know there's about 7 of them, I believe. What are you learning?
Kaylin, we've been told through our reporting that there's
7 counts, that none of these counts is the same, that one is a willful retention of the documents, one is a conspiracy to obstruct, which, as Ali noted before, involves more than one person. We don't quite know what that means yet. And then another is false statements, but there are others that we're not aware of. A lot is going to matter when this indictment is unsealed, when we get to look at it, when we get to see the criminal complaint. We will know much more. But, you know, this tracks with everything that you and I both know about this investigation over the last however many months it's been, more than a year.
Yeah, it has been over a year. But when it comes to these counts, even though the former president was bracing for this, he's in New Jersey right now. He's going to have to go to Miami, as he's said himself on Truth Social on Tuesday for this. I mean, what's your reporting on how his mindset is? I know he's been making a lot of phone calls to Republicans, asking them to attack Jack Smith, to be out there defending him more vociferously than they are now. But what is your sense of how he's viewing this?
Defiantly, and I think that's not a surprise. That's what we've seen him do over and over again. He and his team have been preparing for this for a while. He has been telling people for many days that he expected that he was going to get indicted, and frankly, I think he's thought it's happened long before this meeting that his lawyers had with the DOJ on Monday.
This is that scene from, oh God, I just could think of Jim Carrey screaming, "I'm being indicted, I'm being indicted."
But Caitlin, as you and I both know, sometimes he reacts a certain way initially, and then as the event sinks in or the fact set sinks in, his behavior changes. So I'm not quite sure what this is going to look like. We know he has 2 political events planned for Saturday. Those are going to be pretty significant to watch. And then obviously whatever happens in Miami on Tuesday outside of the courtroom will be significant too. And does he do another press conference as he did at Mar-a-Lago after he was indicted in Manhattan?
Ooh, maybe I
talking about Boris Johnson.
No, that's okay. Maybe I stream Saturday in the evening. Try to catch that. I haven't done an evening stream in forever. It's because I wake up at 4 in the morning. So bizarre that the world watches this overgrown toddler. Hey, but he speaks to them, right? You know, like there's something that happens when, you know, you can't totally follow what someone's saying. And, you know, you get a little, you feel like they're either being condescending or something. And I think a lot of Trump's base is really fucking dumb. They're just like exceptionally stupid people. And some of them are not, and they're really cynical, exceptionally cynical. Normal, smart folk like Ben Shabibo and this Benny guy, like they can work a computer, they can run a show, but just not willing to really face facts, essentially. I don't know. It is very bizarre. It's why we have these sayings like the emperor with no clothes, because this isn't the first time, you know, society has been forced to watch like a segment of it run off a cliff chasing after some man-child. Yeah. So let's see. What else we got? I had an opinion piece, which could be good, could be really boring, from Damon Linker. Who is Damon Linker? Oh no, he's a thumb. He does critical writing at a university, and he did a book called The Theocons, Secular America Under Siege. Okay. Trump finds himself once again facing indictment, this time in federal court, after investigation into his handling of classified documents after departing the White House. The prospect of putting Trump on trial, and he calls him Mr. Trump, for serious crimes and sending him to prison has many Americans feeling giddy. Finally, justice might be done. Such reactions are understandable, but news of Mr. Trump's legal jeopardy shouldn't blind us to the political jeopardy that now confronts the nation. Other countries have tried, convicted, and imprisoned former presidents, but the United States never has. We can actually look at like Israel right now. Israel indicts Bibi. Can't remember if he was president at the time, but he's in the political runnings. And what does he do? He gets back into power, gets rid of and tries to get rid of the judiciary. Essentially, all the power that the judiciary may have over him, he tries to get rid of it. And now Israel's been in protests, on like months now. Crazy. We've been fortunate in this regard that they haven't tried a president. Legal processes establish and maintain legitimacy by the appearance of impartiality, But when a public figure associated with one political party is prosecuted by officials associated with another, such appearances can become impossible to uphold. This is especially so when the public figure is a populist adept at exposing and accusing opponents of concealing base and self-interested motives behind righteous rhetoric. Okay, this is kind of boring. So yeah, I don't know what else to tell you except we're gonna see a whole lot of spin. I'm gonna see so much spin. Libs TikTok. Oh, I can't believe, oh god. And then of course you got the Elon Musk, who's just like so all in on the transphobia. It's really annoying. Yeah. Trump is about to be unlawfully indicted and people are bickering over a campaign ad. Maybe that's not contradictory. We fight over stupid bullshit because we already lost a real war for this country. A very dark day in our country. Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah. Yeah, this is really kind of... Oh, we have an Alan Dershowitz piece? Oh my god. It's going to get way crazy. We're only at the tip of the iceberg. Dershowitz. Oh, it's not even Dershowitz. We're on One American News Network. Oh shit. Wow. $5,000 sweepstakes. I love how the pop-ups are so much worse on this site than other ones. Attorney and Harvard professor Alan Dershowitz, and man who famously defended P-word PDF documents, told One American News an indictment of former President Trump would be a clear form of election interference. He says the thing they want to hear. Quote, I have absolutely no doubt we're seeing special justice for Donald Trump, an attempt to get Trump, an attempt to take the vote away from the voters and put it in the hands of Justice Department officials, jurors, lawyers, and judges, said Dershowitz, the author of, quote, Get Trump. Wonder if he has... Oh, wait, wasn't he the lawyer during the second impeachment trial that Trump, not the first one, but the second impeachment trial? I wonder if he has a biased opinion in this regards. Reports indicate federal prosecutors have informed Trump's legal team that the 45th president has been labeled a target in the investigation of his handling of classified documents. You see how they're like bigging him up? The 45th president rather than Mr. Trump. Quote, when you get the letter that you're a target, it means you're indicted, Dershowitz said. Basically, it means unless you could persuade prosecutors that they've missed something or something's wrong or something new develops, you will be indicted. The second man, this is going to be a whole encyclopedia. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's just, yeah. Yeah, you forgot about second impeachment? That was the one where, they really had him dead to rights. Fuck. I think that was when he was trying to deny it all. Like, it's crazy how relevant this is. Ukraine's getting ready for a war, and they're begging America, give us our, like, this super weapon that destroys tanks, essentially. I've forgotten the name. Javelin missile. And Trump is like, yeah, but I'd like you to do me a favor for. He extorted Zelensky. That was the second impeachment trial. This has been the longest arc ever. And Alan Dershowitz, I just stopped keeping track. Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. It's just too much. It's just like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, that's how I got eventually. It was just like, nobody cares. Nothing's changing. No consequences. It becomes demoralizing. This is why it's kind of funny. He's getting indicted again. It's like you're stuck on the roller coaster. We've been through a couple boring sections. Now we're like, the anticipation's building. We're on the come up. About to go through a bunch of, news cycles on this topic. Oh, geez. The 45th president. Oh, we read this already. The no boxes, the famous no boxes hoax. Impeachment hoax number 1. Federal prosecutors indicated that obstruction of justice could be a charge levied at Trump in a possible indictment. But Dershowitz argued that, quote, people confuse obstruction of justice with unlawful obstruction of justice. Yeah, some people really do. You know how we can tell the difference? Is when the federal cops come and knock on your door. You missed a chapter? Yeah. I mean, these have all been in the works. There's 2 more coming. I think there's There's quite a few coming down the pipe. There's this one, and then there is the Georgia one, which I've been really, really excited for, because that's the one where he's quite literally like, can I have exactly one more vote than the other guy, please? Yes, change the votes and give me one more. I want to win by one. So I'm excited for that one. And then there's a third one I've forgotten. Probably having to do with January 6th or something. Anyways, he's got a bunch of lawyers chasing after him. He must wear a cologne that they love. Criminal defense lawyers obstruct justice every day, said Dershowitz. Lawfully, we plead the Fifth Amendment. Okay, what? We try to get evidence suppressed based on the Fourth Amendment. Okay. We cross-examine witnesses effectively. I cannot believe this is a lawyer. This is a smart man saying these things are the same. Invoking statutes and limitations? It's all lawful. Yeah, it's very different. That's happening in a courtroom. What are you talking about? You have to show a corrupt motive. Yeah, we can't find the documents. Destruction of evidence. Can't find the documents. Tampering with witnesses. Don't know what that. You've seen no evidence of that. Oh, jeez. Okay, all right. It's so hard to take him seriously. In my view, obstruction of justice has to be deliberate and willful based on a corrupt intent, said Dershowitz. And that's not so easy for the government to prove because the government doesn't have any tools to get into the minds of defendants. They have to use circumstantial evidence. And one of the big pieces of circumstantial evidence that we got recently, at least the public heard about it, was some recording. Lordy, there are tapes. And it's him like rustling the paper and talking about it and being like, you know, I'm not supposed to have this, but I do. So we'll see. All right. Well, I hate to say it, but it is 9 o'clock, and I probably should get to work. Probably should go do the work things. But it was fun. It was great to be back and see lovely people. Catch up with my first follower. Have a lovely Good Friday. I'm going to be trying to produce more content on the reg. Maybe not every morning, but mornings are when my brain works. So probably that. And then try to work in Rich Food for Poor Folk once in a while, or some poetry content. Got lots of poetry content. We just finished the finals, and we have a team. And we're going to bring the team around the city, and maybe I can live stream that stuff. That could be some good content. And of course, there's all the Vancouver Festival that's worth going through. A lot of great content, and I was behind the dials the whole time, so I couldn't focus and listen. So I'd love to do some React content to the Poetry Festival. Lots of good stuff there. And Maya spoken one, and she won with a banger. Absolutely incredible poem. So yeah, that could be some good content. I'll see you later. Y'all have a lovely day. I hope things work out for you, or you have a good one, or I don't know. All the things are beautiful and nothing hurts. Something like that. Okay. It's going to be a hard cut, though. Bye, everyone. See you, everybody.